What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 5. There's going to be another best of 2 between, this time, Team Alpha going up against Bennett +5, so should be a pretty interesting one. Haven't casted Bennett +5 in quite a long time, and I believe Team Alpha just won one tied X game, I want to say, the other day, but that was X game with a lot of stand-ins, so not quite sure if you could call that X game. Either way, should be a relatively good match. I'm Mike Loris, going to be your only caster for today, as most of our other casters are incapacitated. I didn't do anything, I swear. It was just their fault. But we'll see it as we look towards this draft. The bans are oh-so flavor of the month. Got Juggernaut, Troll, Axe, and the IO, which is a ban that it really is going to be a situation on who you are going up against as to whether or not you want to ban that hero. But I can only assume that Alpha and Beta +5 have played before, although I actually don't know, so there's no way of really knowing. But you know what, it's better to ban out the IO and not have to deal with him than find out the enemy team has a really good IO player and then you're just completely screwed because you don't have the correct heroes to deal with it. So bans all looking more or less fairly normal as we're going to look towards the first picks. More flavor of the month stuff, really not too much that's surprising right now. Lion is the first pick. Shadow Fiend would make it full flavor of the month. So do we pick the classic flavors, or do we go for something a little bit different? Grabbing the Lion first is probably getting rid of the most dangerous form of crowd control, and that Hex. It's now on the Bennett +5 side, so they can afford to pick up someone like a Brewmaster or someone who has a lot of mobility, and then be happy with the fact that, yeah, they'll have to deal with the Magic Missile, but it's not really the most crippling as far as crowd control effects are concerned. Or they could go for Bristleback. It's not necessarily that Shadow Fiend as far as the flavor of the month style goes, but Bristleback is also here that's been getting quite a lot of traction. Then Alpha going to grab that Bat Rider thereafter. So Alpha definitely opening up with a very safe way of drafting. Grabbing the Vengeful Spirit first is always going to be probably as safe as you can get, since the Vengeful Spirit is never really going to be bad in any lineup as a support hero. You get stuns, you get damage. Sounds good. Bat Rider as the follow-up, going to be primarily for that initiating role, most likely will head towards the off lane. Bennett already very prepared to deal with this Bat Rider, with Lion being one of the supports, and it looks like their Bristleback is going to head down towards the bottom lane. So Alpha, they're going to have to prepare for a Bristleback off lane. The problem is with that, for the Team Alpha side, is that Bristleback can go there solo and do an okay job. If he goes there in a dual or tri-lane capacity, then things can get really dangerous. The aggressive potential of Bristleback, combined with his tankiness, means that you have to invest a lot more than just a Vengeful Spirit plus one other hero into that lane. If you actually want to survive that lane, you're going to need a hell of a lot of power there if you want to kill off the Bristleback and survive his physical damage at the same time. So Alpha have to prepare for both of those scenarios, and well, they're going to probably just take care of the other lanes first, because you can't really ban out all the effective combinations with Bristleback. But having the Pig charge out Vengeful Spirit, and there's not really many things you could do. Crowd control effects, not really going to be at a super premium for Team Alpha, since they already have a decent amount with Bat Rider, Vengeful Spirit to deal with that Bristle. But the more the merrier when you try and deal with the Bristleback. Having someone like an Earthshaker in that lane just to brick wall the Bristleback, both figuratively and literally, is going to be of the utmost importance for Alpha. They don't necessarily have to pick that hero, but some heroes that can do that. Rubik can do it to a lesser extent with that telekinesis. Secondary ban phase now going, and we have the Shadow Fiend, who is going to hit the bin. He was probably going to get involved in this draft one way or another. It's just a matter of whether the teams are going to pick him or ban him out. It seems like Bennett +5 could have run the Shadow Fiend pretty decently up against the Bat Rider. Always a little bit risky, since if he lasts with the Shadow Fiend, then he absolutely does nothing, and he will just get absolutely smashed. But that being said, together with Bristleback, they have a lot of physical damage and a lot of minus armor for even more physical damage, so it would have been a relatively decent pickup for them. And for Team Alpha, it would have been okay as well. Alpha are actually working with two range heroes right now. Though Bat Rider isn't really what you want when you pick up the Drow Ranger, it could be possible that they angle themselves towards a draft that would accommodate a Drow. It's going to be fine up against a Bristleback, but really it's going to be picked up later if they pick it up at all. Maybe it's going to be Visage, then a Drow Ranger pick, or they could just sit on a Visage and then see if the game is still accommodating for a Drow Ranger as their fourth pick. I actually like when teams do that. Grabbing a Visage just as a support hero is perfectly reasonable. It gets a lot stronger with the Drow Ranger, but you don't necessarily have to go down that route. So maybe it'll prompt Bandit +5 to grab something like a Slark or something along those lines. And since Bandit +5 actually banned out the Ancient Apparition, it is quite possible that B5 are going to grab that Slark here. Right now, the Ancient Apparition would be okay for Team Alpha, but really if you're going to be banning out that hero without the intention of grabbing like a Necrophos or a Slark or an Omni Knight or any of those healers, then you're probably going to have a slightly wasted ban. So they're probably looking to grab someone with healing, and there it is, Dazzle as the pick. Of course, doesn't mean that they can't go for that Slark. Grabbing that Dazzle is just going to be a nice hero to have, not worrying about that cold effect of that Ancient Apparition. It's also a reasonable hero to have up against a Batrider. Not exactly the best, since Batrider's burst isn't really going to be that high unless you partner him up with the likes of a Centaur or a Skywrath Mage, which are both possible here for Alpha, probably Skywrath Mage a little bit more so.
10 seconds remaining.
But if they do go for that combination, as powerful as it is to lasso someone,
5 seconds
then
remaining.
bring him into a Mystic Flare, Skywrath Mage is going to struggle up against the physical damage of Bandit 5. Oh, there it is. Called it, guys. It's going to struggle up against this this Bristleback lane. I'm assuming Skywrath Vengeful Spirit +1 can be going up against Bristleback, and Bandit +5 can support this Bristleback quite highly with the Dazzle. The problem is with offensive tri-lanes with Dazzle and Lion is that Lion early on really doesn't do that great. But the Dazzle will get the job done, in Bristleback, he's pretty much like 1.5 heroes as far as early game is concerned, just because he is so tanky and he does do so much damage. So we'll see if Bandit +5 want to run that lane aggressively. If not, just having like a Bristleback versus Batrider should be fairly even there. So either way, they should be happy with how these lanes are going. In Alpha, they have some decent lane strength, but so far I would say Bandit +5 have just a little bit more. So what are Bandit +5 going to go for next? Alpha, they are pretty much full up on crowd control. They got Lasso, they got Magic Missile, they have that Silence. They're pretty much good to go. So as far as grabbing a mid laner, grabbing another side laner, someone with mobility would always be nice to force that crowd control, but would definitely not be the best. Viper would have been pretty decent if Alpha had not banned it out. Looking towards other heroes, Wind Ranger has been getting a lot of traction nowadays, and would be pretty good if Bandit +5 want to go on a really focused early mid-game strategy. Other than that, sending someone towards the mid lane could be someone like an Invoker, although don't really want to be doing that without some sort of reason, or decent crowd control to set up for Sunstrikes. Puck is also a reasonable way to go, offering Bandit +5 a little bit more flexibility, and hey, you get some initiation of your own, which Bandit have been lacking so far. Having the Lion for eventually a blink into a Hex is really nice, but that's not even guaranteed. You're not going to be guaranteed a blink on the Lion pretty much ever. So grabbing that Puck where a Blink Dagger is more so guaranteed is going to be nice. That being said, Alpha are prepared to deal with this Puck in that they have the Skywrath Mage, and that's the best counter you could possibly ask for. Having an instant silence or an instant disable at all. Like if Lion was on the Alpha side, Puck would have just a terrible time. It will be reasonable for the Team Alpha side to deal with this Puck as they grab themselves up a Medusa, actually. So going to grab a little bit of that late game power, which Bandit +5 are currently lacking at the moment. Bristleback does fine, and we do see the Anti-Mage ban to try to protect that Medusa, but Bandit +5 will always be able to grab a late game hero. It just depends on how late they really want to go. I don't think they should really go super late. I think trying to go for more of a mid-game strategy would be a little bit better here. If you go super late, you could try to test the Medusa, but do you really want to? You probably don't, honestly. Like, it gets a little bit too risky having to deal with Stone Gaze all the time. And Stone Gaze just is really, really difficult to deal with.
10 seconds remaining.
So I would like it if Bandit +5 take it a little bit more mid-game, and Slark is going to be the pick, harkening back to that Ancient Apparition ban previously. So it is going to just be that Slark pick, pretty vanilla there. But the strength of Bandit +5's draft, or one of the strengths rather, is that they can just shuffle up these lanes and, you know, put them however they want them. Like Slark can go mid, Puck can go mid, Puck can go off lane, Bristleback can go off lane. It could be a defensive tri-lane, it could be an offensive tri-lane. It'll be really just a bad guessing game for Team Alpha, who don't really have that many options. They can run a mediocre offensive tri-lane and try to hope for a 3v1 matchup.
5 seconds
but Skywrath,
remaining.
Venge, and Medusa most likely will all head towards the bottom lane. Whereas mid lane, you're just going to see a Puck or a Slark on the other end. And either way, you'll have a couple of good matchups there. Maybe even a Brewmaster to hold down the fort for Team Alpha while the Medusa just tries to get farm. It's most likely going to be Bandit +5 going on the aggressive for most of this game, whereas Team Alpha are just trying to be responsive. It's going to help a lot once the Batrider grabs his Blink Dagger to try to be a little bit more assertive on the Team Alpha side. But if that doesn't happen, then Bennett +5, with their ability to just constantly fight with the Bristleback and their heals from both the Slark and the Dazzle, going to make it really hard for Team Alpha to take these sustained fights, because right now they don't really have a person to go in the front lines. Someone tanky would be really nice to have right now, but they also need a mid hero. And do you actually want to grab a tanky mid hero? No, it's going to be a Storm Spirit. That's fine. It's kind of a frontliner. Not really, I guess. I mean, it is going to be someone to start the fights and will remain very elusive. Together with the Batrider, you could jump in and cause a hell of a lot of havoc. Is an okay matchup versus either the Slark or Puck in a solo lane. But the Storm Spirit already is going to have to deal with a Puck and a Lion on the other end. So the forms of mobility in the Puck and the Storm Spirit, they won't really get away with a free game. But that's fine. You can't really always avoid crowd control effects. You're going to be facing up against CC. That's just how the game works. But we are in the game, guys. This is not a rebroadcast. I don't know why people keep asking if this is a rebroadcast on this channel. We don't rebroadcast shit on this channel. That just never, ever happens. I don't think it's happened once. And I'm pretty sure rebroadcast was like all up on the title in really, really capital bold letters. But right now, we're going to see how these lanes are going to shape up. Miggy is going to be handling the Skywrath Mage down towards bottom. Bakemono is going to be playing the Storm Spirit in a defensive tri-lane along with Hari's Vengeful Spirit. That leaves King on the mid lane Dusa. And up towards top, Jinx God on the Batrider is going to be burning down some trees because screw nature, man. On the Bennett +5 side, we have Nemiranos on the Bristleback together with Robert G. This is going to be supporting him as the Dazzle. Looks like dual lanes for the B+5 side. Puck is going to be Puck's going to be played by Tabushka. And up towards top, right now at least, it's going to be Mr. O and Tedious on the Lion and Slark, respectively. The Slark is probably just going to grab a fast magic stick, and then ideally for Bennett +5, they're going to try to avoid this lane as much as possible. Bristleback already taking a beating, getting a little bit too close to Miggy. That was just a couple of hits with the concussive shot being picked up at level 1. Not exactly what you want to be doing as a Skywrath Mage, but if it leads to this much early damage, that's like 3 tangos and a clarity. That's some pretty efficient mana spent by Alpha. And now they have a good read on what's going on the bottom lane. The Skywrath Mage's ability to poke will be limited until he gets level 2. But once he does have that, then this lane for Bennett +5, not really that dangerous because it doesn't have any crowd control. Yeah, they can do a lot of physical damage versus the softer heroes like Skywrath Mage, but the odds of them actually being able to catch up and stick onto the Skywrath Mage without some substantial help is really, really going to be slim. They need a Lion here. Maybe Lion's going to make his rotation down once he hits level 3 or something like that. But this dual lane for Bennett +5, they're probably not going to be getting any kills unless Storm Spirit gets a little bit too close. Like, that is dangerous for Bakemono, getting that close to Nemiranos. But as long as he keeps his distance, he will be fine. Let's look at the more boring lanes first. Puck going up against Medusa. Actually, a reasonable lane for the Medusa. But you're not going to hit the Puck with the Snake. It's just not going to happen versus Phase Shift. And Puck, he does have a slight base damage advantage for right now. Probably isn't going to stick since Medusa should be looking for the likes of Aquila Phase Boots. But Tabushka right now should have a decent time. Expect his Blink Dagger to be coming up very shortly. Up towards top, Batrider in a lot more trouble than the dual lane of Alpha down, or the tri-lane of Alpha down towards bottom. But this Bennett +5 dual lane is powerful, but I don't know if it's powerful enough to decisively kill off the Batrider without having quite a few levels. Like, their crowd control definitely is there. They'll have the Pounce, they'll have eventually Dark Pact, Spike as well. Batrider is rather tanky as far as intelligence heroes are concerned. Like, 26 strength versus the 27 intelligence on an intelligence hero. This guy's pretty big. He's not Ogre Magi big, but he can definitely get the job done as far as just surviving, especially having the Magic Stick level 1, or, already on his person. He's going to get quite a bit of extra health and mana from that. Over towards mid lane, looks like King and Tabushka got into quite the fist fight. Slark also dropping relatively low, forced to tank the creeps as he goes behind the tower. Mr. O going to get the Hex onto Jinx God. Firefly is there, however. Jinx God has an opportunity here. If he's a little bit faster, he can get under the line with that Firefly. Now sees that Tedious is very, very low. This is going to be first blood, most likely. Jinx God's going to lay up 3 stacks of tar into Mr. O. Spike is there. It's only level 1, however. A couple more right clicks with 4 stacks of that Napalm. Firefly is going to wear out. He's going to lose vision. No, he still has it. That's going to be first blood. Jinx God draws it on Mr. O. Now Tedious is going to try to chase forward for that Batrider. He does not have the Pact though, so he can't get rid of these tar charges. And it will be very close to whether or not he'll get this kill. He will fall just short. And Puck is going to come in looking for that Waning Rift. He can't get it either. Needs one more hit. Oh, he can't get it either. Batrider is going to survive that. First blood drawn up on the top lane for Team Alpha, and Jinx God is going to walk away from that situation with his life. Very, very narrow up on that top lane, but you know what, Lion, when he's only level 1 like that, or level 2 rather, I guess with the spike and the Hex, can't really do that much. He's extremely slow, and Batrider now has Tranquils, will be able to do that a lot easier the next time. Also forcing the Puck to go up there. It really wasn't going to be like Puck was demolishing the Medusa all the while, but Medusa getting a short period of time where she doesn't have to worry about anyone in lane. And down towards bottom, now that Scarith Mage has his level 2, the damage is really going to flow, and that's going to force the mana to come out from the Dazzle. So Dazzle's ability to use the heals as an offensive tool is slowly going to be closing as the Scarith Mage dumps more and more mana into the enemies. Up towards top, Mr. O is going to be fine this time, but the Batrider has staked his claim to the enemy jungle. He has, for the most part, won this top lane. It's not completely out of the question to see the top lane of Band +5 recover if Batrider gets a little bit too far out of position. If he loses his Firefly at a bad timing, he can very easily go down. But as long as he just doesn't do that, then he'll be fine. So this is already a pretty good start for Team Alpha. They're starting to recover quite a bit in this bottom lane. Again, the lack of CC really hurting their cause down here. If this Dazzle was someone like a Venomancer, then this could be a much different lane. Or if they had any other support hero down here. But instead, the support hero is up towards top lane, not really doing that much. Like, TDS isn't getting that much protection from this Lion. And their threat towards this Batrider, it certainly is there, but it's not even keeping Jinx God too far away from the creep wave. Like, he's still getting his levels. His level 6 is going to be here mighty quick. Man, people still asking if this is a rebroadcast. Is that going to become a thing? I really hope it's not going to be a thing. Alright, 4 minutes in. Only 1 kill going towards Alpha, though Storm Spirit, because he's been working with a 2.5 lane down towards bottom, kind of hurting on the experience. So his level 6 is going to be quite delayed. He's getting quite a bit of farm, though. In fact, leading the way in CS, 6 per minute right now. In fact, or a little bit less than that, but it's still pretty darn high for any hero, let alone a Storm. And you can see this bottom lane of Bandit +5 just not really applying that much pressure towards the enemy tri-lane. You would expect a dual lane to lose to tri-lanes most of the time. And this dual lane is particularly powerful from Bandit +5, but it's just not powerful enough to overcome the Scarith Mage damage output. Bakemono is going to have to deal with a little bit of chip damage, but his magic wand is keeping him up very, very high. Being able to spam out a couple more remnants. Still holding on to 1 skill point. So he'll be able to get either that additional point of remnant or that pull if he needs to. But Nimeranos eventually is just going to get to a point where he's going to say, screw it, I'm just going to pull the trigger and dive this. Miggy, though, with his magic stick as well, just keeping Nimeranos back. And Bristleback is not necessarily like the Batrider in that he doesn't need to be spamming out these quills. But if you're going to be controlling the lane at all, you really need to get those quills, or at least something going. Otherwise, you're just conceding the lane. You might as well just leave, as you're not going to be doing anything without the quills. Up towards top, Jinx God now has his level 6, so Slark going to be in a little bit more trouble, but Slark can also man-fight the Batrider decently. Looks like he's going to be going for a Hand of Midas. That could be Power Treads as well for the Slark, but I definitely feel like this could be a game for Bandit +5 to grab that Midas. Mostly because their team comp is really focused into the first 20-30 minutes in the game. But right now, they're actually not doing that hot, and they have to get something going. Grabbing a Blink Dagger can let them be active around the map, but by the time that happens, the Batrider will already have his. And then your Slark is going to have to, kind of be the counter initiator, and that's never really where you want to be. Over towards mid lane, Miggy is going to get clipped by the orb. But Tabushka also looking fairly vulnerable right now. Ancient Seal is up. Level 3 Scarith Mage, level 2 Vengeful Spirit. If they silence the Puck, then I think just with the Scarith Mage and the Venge, they'll be able to kill off this hero. There is a regen rune and a phase shift, though, on the Puck. So if Tabushka plays his cards right, maybe he'll get out of here. He is a level 7 hero. He's able to do a lot of damage right now with his spells. But he just used his orb to scout. And he's in... No, not quite in a lot of trouble. Now he's in a lot of trouble. Now he's in even more trouble. Don't go down that ramp, man. Don't go down there. He uses his phase shift. Now he's going to get silenced. Here comes the missile and the bolt. That's going to be a kill for Alpha. So easily done. Puck, his orb scouting down below was probably the worst thing that he could have done. Yeah, it's nice to potentially look around and see what sort of threat you're under. But aside from that, that might have just killed him. Not because he needed the orb to escape, but because he was comfortable enough going down to the low ground where he didn't have the vision, and by the time he saw the enemies, it was way too late. At the same time, the rest of the tri-lane now from Bandit +5, they're going to grab a triple, I think, stack of creeps with the Bristleback and Dazzle helping out. These heroes are pretty good at jacking creeps with the heal bomb. But as nice as this is, being 2 kills down is pretty bad for them. It's still a relatively even game, however, only 2 kills is being mitigated by the fact that Bennett +5 are farming okay, but Alpha with 1,000 gold lead, less than 1,000 experience, it's not going to be winning them any games anytime soon. The real problematic thing comes from the fact that Batrider is having a fairly free time, and he will have his Blink Dagger relatively quickly. A little bit slower since his stack has been killed off. You can't really stop a Batrider from grabbing his Blink, so that will be coming up very soon. Whereas for Bennett +5, now making it a full-on tri-lane down towards bottom. And there's not much that the Alpha side can do to protect their Storm Spirit at this point, but do they really need to? Because he has the Ball Lightning by this point. And although Hex Spike is very dangerous, I don't really know if it's going to be dangerous enough. So this tri-lane formation of Bandit +5, perhaps a little bit weak. I guess the Slark kind of does need the help versus the Batrider. But at the same time, you were kind of having even or mediocre to bad lanes on both the bottom and top lanes, instead of just a bad lane and a really good lane. I don't know. Maybe having a really bad and a really good lane would have been better, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? You just gotta weigh your options and hope for the best in the end. Taking a look at the Batrider farm, he has been clearing out the jungle, although King has been clearing out some of those stacks as well. This is 2 heroes jungling for the Alpha side. That's not really what you want to be doing, because top lane Slark is just free farming, 1 versus 0. Tabushka is also free farming, and he's only 700 gold or so away from his Blink Dagger. Puck getting a Blink Dagger around the same time as the Batrider will be fairly dangerous for either side. As far as counter initiation is concerned, having a Puck jump in with that coil, it's going to be a lot more dangerous than the single target initiation of the Batrider. As nice as it is to have that lasso, you can't really get out effectively with it until you get that Force Staff. And that's not going to come up for a very, very long time afterwards. The Puck just needs that Blink Dagger to get going, and then he'll be good to go. This game is actually really boring right now, guys. 10 minutes in, only 2 kills, lots of farming. And really no sign that it's going to change anytime soon. And Bandit +5, they're getting free farm on their Slark and Bristleback now. And Alpha, they're making really no attempts at punishing this at all. They can't really do anything to punish it, mostly because Jinx God doesn't have his Blink Dagger yet. And Medusa is not going to be doing anything anytime soon because it's Medusa. But this bottom lane for Alpha is awkwardly stagnant. It's really up to Bakemono to make something happen, as he does teleport back down to the lane. But going up against these 3 heroes is a little bit too dangerous right now. Mr. O, though, going to get caught a little bit far away from his team. They're going to pull back onto Robert and then change focus to Mr. O. They'll get that kill. Nimeranos dropping fairly low. Heal Bomb not quite there. Dabushka here. Now with the silence and the orb through Storm Spirit. Coil already dropped. That'll get 1 kill in response. And that's not really a jump you want to be making. Wrap around. Miggy is going to be TPing out to safety. He'll be just fine. Double blinks being picked up on either side now, but we can see the reinforcement power of that Puck and how influential it is. Batrider, in the meantime, will die solo to test Tedious on the top lane. My god, English. English, please. That's not really a kill that's supposed to happen. Your Batrider did grab his Blink Dagger. I suppose that's nice, but somehow the Slark was able to close in that distance and kill off the Bat, and now the Slark is sitting on Blink Dagger gold in just 1 more CS. There it is. If he wants to go for that one, that would be a reasonable pickup for him. Blink Daggers galore, but we'll see who actually gets to use the Blink Dagger well first. And Bakemono dying there for that trade down towards bottom. Definitely not worth it for the Alpha side. He's going to put Bandit +5 on the board now, and it's going to mean that Bakemono is going to struggle moving forward in this game. He does have his Soul Ring already. Maybe it's a Bloodstone for him. But it's the safe lane Storm Spirit farm, and just look at the net worth status of this hero. He's pretty much on the bottom as far as core heroes are concerned. And for any safe lane, that's not what you want. Nimeranos, he's going to be charging forward, laying down a couple of quills. Hari looking to get in there with Magic Missile. Nimeranos suddenly a little bit alone, has a Vanguard, and his back is turned, has help coming, and they will just reinforce Nimeranos, who took no damage from that Firefly. Now chasing forward for Hari. Dark Pact will kill off this Venge, plus the Grave onto TS, which will allow him to disengage. Jinx God is going to die. Coil will not hit, but Batrider will die anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think that Coil was on the edge, and he used it, but the Batrider was already dead. So Bandit +5 now kicking into gear with all 5 of their heroes. Would you compare that to Alpha, who still have their Medusa, who just wants to farm? That's the weak part. Oh, Tabushka actually going to get jumped by Bakemono. Dropping very low, has a phase shift. He's bottling up as well, but a ball lightning forward and a spike a little bit too late there. That's going to be a free kill for the Storm Spirit. That's a big kill as well on the Puck. And Storm Spirit, who had a little bit of a rough start, is going to be really happy he has that now, but the Slark in the meantime has been grabbing a Shadow Blade. And as I was saying, the weak part about putting a Medusa mid lane is her laning. Of course, it's not really the strongest, but also the fact that come the mid game, your Medusa is not really going to be able to help out. Like, she can go and throw a snake or teleport in for a stone gate or something like that, But every time you do that, you put yourself at risk, and you're not farming while you're doing that. So it's not worth it. It's really not in the game plan of Medusa. It's very similar to a Shadow Fiend, except Shadow Fiend can offer just a little bit more with his explosiveness and his raises. And even if he does teleport around and help out, he'll be able to flash farm with those raises so that he could get himself back up to a decent amount of gold if he doesn't really do great in those ganks. Either way, 4-4, Bennett have tied this game up. And with the Shadow Blade on their Slark now being revealed, they got Puck with a Blink Dagger. They have everyone else not with anything else. But either way, they're ready to go. This should be a game where they're just going to put on the gas and just never ever stop. Yeah. They might feel bad if I say it's boring. But you know what? I'm not going to bullshit you guys. It's true. If you have 10 minutes of farming, no one likes to see that shit. The thing is, they're not playing for the viewers, they're playing to win. And that is a difference there. Bakemono smoked up, though. He sees the Batrider. Nope, that's never mind his own Batrider. Batrider's actually leading the way. And he's going to run into the invisible Slark. There goes your smoke. Sentry's going to drop. That is not a sentry. That's an Observer Ward that's blue. Why is that Observer Ward blue? That's just a liar. They're going to jump forward onto Miggy. Scarth Mage dropping low will go down. Tedious can get a free assassination there as Mr. O closes in. Looking for a Hex. He's going to find one to Bakemono. He's going to layer the stuns, but he has a Finger of Death. That doesn't even matter. Chibushka now looking for a coil. Will land it onto 2 heroes. Hari trying to TP out of here. Looks like there's no more CC here. And they will get away with the Vengeful Spirit, but now Jinx God is in a little bit of trouble. He will blink out before that right click on Puck lands. Dusa coming in big with that Stone Gaze. But again, that's pretty much all that she can do in this game. Just arrive, Stone Gaze, and then hope that the enemies don't have enough gas to kill her off. Regardless, it is still 2 kills going the way of Bandit +5. Finger of Death being used to kill off a Storm Spirit. Even with really just bad CC layering, you don't need to do it well if you have a Finger of Death. Why stun them when you can kill them? It's a much better way to go, guys. Much better. So 4-6, and Storm Spirit's still not going to get much. He's going to go straight for that Bloodstone, it looks like. But Bloodstone only works if you're going to kills. And speaking of kills, Batrider going to get jumped by the Slark once again. That Shadow Blade giving dividends. Mr. O, though, going to get jumped by Bakemono. Hex is there. Spike through as well. Bakemono has so much mana that this Lion cannot escape. One more Ball Lightning, one more hit, and that's going to be a kill. Nemorano's down the low ground. Going to get swapped up to the high ground. This is a very, very difficult kill to take because he has so much armor and a Vanguard. In fact, they probably can't even get close to him. Here comes Tabushka with a little bit of help, silencing the Storm Spirit for the kill. That's going to be one. Now King awkwardly stuck in between everyone and the Dazzle. Dazzle not looking to reinitiate with that Poison Touch. They will just back off for now as Puck also TP's out, I believe. Yeah, he got out of there safe and sound. But, man, this Bristleback is big, dude. This guy is absolutely stacked. Vanguard and the Crimson Guard in the making. In fact, it is going to be flying out to him immediately. This Bristleback is damn hard to kill on Alpha. They don't really have high damage right now. They need this Mystic Flare to land with the help of a lasso or something like that. That's really their best chance of killing off this Bristleback. But as far as killing him off with right clicks, he has 10 armor and a Vanguard. That's just not going to be happening. So you have to take the magical damage approach for killing off this Bristleback. But so far the magical damage from Alpha just isn't quite there. And Storm Spirit was kind of preoccupied using his mana to kill off the Dazzle. Or the Lion, rather. And that's fine. But as problematic as the Lion is, he's only problematic every 160 seconds. And if you fight between that, you're going to be fine. But here we go. Flare combination is primed and ready. Let's see how fast Tabushka is with that phase shift. Mr. O is right next to him with that Hex, and Jinx God's going to see them both with a Flying Vision. So now he doesn't really want to go in. There's the lasso. Hex a little bit too late. Tabushka now is going to get graved up. Miggy holding on to that Mystic Flare still. Tabushka has a phase shift. He will use it. Trying to blink out. Can't quite get out. Now Mr. O stuck in a corner will also go down. Nemoranos is going to arrive to the scene. Going into 4 heroes. Tedious is going to close in as well. Looking for a pounce onto someone. Anyone. He can't quite find it. Jinx God, though, going to try to TP out. He is safe in those trees. They're going to pounce onto King. Low on mana. Doesn't have a Stone Gaze any longer. Tedious going to drop him down very low. That's going to be 1 kill. Now chasing forward for another. Hari is going to try to go behind the tower. Jinx God, no. Teleport. What? Why is he here? He teleported out. Hari's going to die after the Batrider. And that's going to be 3 kills for Bandit +5. Tedious is going to draw a double after having been initiated upon. Robert G's grave there really coming in handy. But, like, the Batrider was there. And then he was there? Like, what? What happened? Did he just panic TP over here? Was he just panicking? I don't understand what happened there, guys. I mean, I see the Batrider teleporting out, and I'm like, okay, he's going to the base. He's going to be fine. He's going to live. No. No. He was going to the tower. He wanted to fight. and it was a bad idea, guys. You don't really want to fight in that situation because the Slark is very, very fast right now. Fast and fat, which is kind of a weird combination there. But you know what? He has a Shadow Blade, and he's using it perfectly. 7-0-1. If you're sitting on a Shadow Blade, you're doing it wrong. TDS is definitely not doing it. Nimiranos also playing as if he is that similar farm level of the Slark. He's like 3,000 gold behind him, but he doesn't give a damn because he knows that if he charges in, he'll have backup from the Dazzle. He'll have Weave Armor. He'll have Bristleback level 3. He'll have his Crimson Guard to pop if things get really bad. Not really too much Nimiranos has to worry about. What Bennett +5 do have to worry about is this Bat Rider right around the corner looking for this Aegis Steel. He's going to see it claimed, and he will not make any sort of jump. Not going to bring anyone to the high ground. But Bennett +5, now that they have the Aegis, they should be looking for a tower push. They're so powerful right now and so very hard to kill. Bat Rider going to get jumped by Tedious. That's going to be an easy kill for the Slark. Shadow Blade once again paying dividends. And they're just going to keep on rolling with the Slark. Now 8-0-1. I have Scotty very close to completion. Is it? No. Okay, no parts on the Courier. They're just an ultimate orb point booster away from that glorious item. And then Slark is going to get to a point where he's very difficult to kill as well. Hell, he's already very difficult to kill. Not quite at Bristleback levels of survivability. But Shallow Grave can go on either one of them now, and they will both represent huge threats to the Alpha side. Alpha, they're very quickly losing map control, and they still have two outer tier 2 towers left. Their Medusa, maybe going to go for an Eye of Scotty herself, but she is still just dead weight for the team, and Storm Spirit is also kind of in that same boat. Like, he has the Soul Booster, great. You have health, you have mana, but what are you going to do with it, man? What are you going to do with it? I have no idea, because you're just going to be hunted down. And there's still the silences from the Puck after the Blink Dagger. Lion, not really getting that much gold. But if he gets a Blink Dagger as well, then that'll just be terrible for the Storm Spirit. But now Bennett +5. Looks like they have their eye set on yet another tier 2 tower. The smoke is up from Alpha on the middle lane, but that's not really going to matter if Bennett +5 just goes straight for a tier 2 bottom lane push. Or they could look for more kills. Again, Bennett +5, where their draft excels is in getting kills, not tower kills. So they're going to Shadow Blade in. There's no True Sight here, at least not on the floor just yet. Hari, LGD is going to make a jump for Jinx on. Finger of Death going to snipe one out. Now going to go straight for Hari. Jump forward in by Bakemono. Hex missed, I think. Hari going to swap the puck in. That didn't do jack. And now Tabushka get hit with the Mystic Flare. Silence as well. Gets graved, however. This puck has a chance of surviving, although very, very slim. Is going to get healed. Phase shifted out. Will die to the split shot, but Bakemono now getting stunned up. Being focused down by just the supports as King TP's away. He will get out of there alive. Bakemono, though, will not because he's out of mana. That's a godlike streak for TDS. Robert gets to survive. Puck getting graved up, and this Dazzle's just been playing out of his mind. Shallow Grave so many times, saving the day. And if you're focusing the Puck as Alpha, that means you're not focusing the problem heroes of Slark and Bristleback. As nice as it is to silence him and insta-give him with that Mystic Flare, you really, really need to save that magical damage for the heroes that are doing more damage. The Slark and the Bristleback. These are the problem heroes. And Nimiranos, this is like disrespect right here. This is so much disrespect. He's taking quite a bit of damage because as tanky as he is, he's not invulnerable. But the tower is going to go down regardless. And Bennett +5 pulling ahead slowly but surely. What is all of this actually leading into? Let's take a look. We got the Crimson Guard plus 2,500 Gs on the Bristleback. Lion is approaching that Blink Dagger status, whereas Tabushka is now wielding an Ultimate Orb. So maybe a Hex going to be picked up by him, or could also be a Lincoln Sphere. That would be pretty reasonable. King on the other end, he's still working towards the Scotty, which is already completed by TDS's Slark, and there will soon be a Force Staff for the Dazzle. So next time he graves the Puck, grave, phase shift, Force Staff out, the Puck has a decent chance of surviving. I would like to see a Yule Scepter on this Puck, actually. That would be a really good item to have. Like, it would have saved him like 2 or 3 times already. But, you know, sometimes you just got to get a sheep, go on the aggressive plan, and I like that as well. It could work out. Because you'll have a Blink Hex hero one way or another. Like, either Mr. O will grab a Hex, or a Blink Dagger rather, or the Puck will grab a Hex. And either way, you get the same result. Eight to 15 right now, and Bennett +5 is going to stake out their jungle, grab a little bit more farm. They still have that Aegis, but not really for long enough to make a nice aggressive push up the top lane, where the last objective is going to lie. That should be what their goal is going to be. Maybe they're going to wait for Lion to grab a Blink Dagger off it. Maybe they're going to wait for their Bristleback to use some of this gold. As far as items for this Bristleback, I don't really know what he has to be scared of right now. The magical damage is great on Alpha, but he's not really being targeted by magic damage. do you want to build a pipe for your team as Bristleback? I don't think so in this game. I think you go for a little bit more damage. You change the threat focus away from the Puck and the Slark to the Bristleback. And then at that point, Alpha have 3 targets that they really want to go for, but 0 targets that they can easily go for. So maybe a Basher on the Bristleback. Maybe going for a Shiva's Guard or an AC would be also really good. But for right now, oh, Storm Spirit going to dodge death for now. Miggy also in a corner. And Bakemono, he's going to be fine. Everyone's going to live. That was close, though. You drop a coil there, and you're screwed. Actually, well, Storm Spirit's not necessarily screwed, because line a little bit too far away. You could actually coil, blink, silence. Can you make that land before the Storm Spirit Ball Lightning's out? I don't know if you can. It'll be close. You have to be like extremely quick. But a coil's going to be dropped on Jinx God instead. Bat Rider in the wrong neighborhood is going to get fingered in the face. It's going to be a very easy kill from Bennett +5. It is a coil being drawn out. As Bat Rider, I guess you don't expect that to happen. But at this point, he probably should. That's like the... it's not necessarily the 7th time that he's been caught out like that, but it's, let's just say he's been caught out one too many times by that type of play. 2 towers going to go down without any sort of trade in sight for Alpha. I mean, their Medusa's still getting a reasonable amount of farm, but now that the line has a Blink Dagger, they just have so many answers to this hero. And Slark is also going to get to a point where he could just man-fight the Medusa. Hell, he's already there, and he will pretty much stay ahead of that Medusa for the entire game, assuming he just keeps on getting these kills with his Eye of Scotty and Shadow Blade combo. So Tedious, if he grabs a Basher or something, well, let's begin the devil. Okay, so he has a Basher now, and now the Medusa is gonna need like something else to deal with that. He's gonna have the Vengeful Spirit swap reserve for her, which is, you know, probably what you're gonna be doing anyway. But if Medusa gets bashed by the Slark, well, Slark is gonna get a lot of stats, and if he does kill off the Medusa in the end, then suddenly you're looking at a Slark with like at least 10 stacks of Essence Shift. That's a hell of a lot of damage that this guy's going to be putting out. Hell, even if he didn't have that Essence Shift, he would still be putting out a lot of damage. Who am I kidding? Down towards bottom, looks like Alpha want a tier 1 tower. By God, they're going to get it, even if it means dying to this Slark, who, by the way, is going to be stalking Jinx God. Sees the Firefly off to the side, but he instead wants Hari. He's going to get silenced up. Mystic Flare is there, and it looks like this Slark is in a little bit of trouble, but he does get the Shadow Dance off. Now going to kill off this Vengeful Spirit. Yes, they will go down. King standing his ground. Stone Gaze has already been used. Tedious going to back off. I can't believe they didn't kill off the Slark. He's just way too tanky right now. TP out from King. Looks like he will stick the landing there, but Jinx God off to the side will also blink out. He's deep in the trees. Tibushka going to see Jinx God. Man fight in the trees. Silence is there. Spike is there as well. Jinx God will lose vision. Oh my God, is he really going to live? He sticks the landing, and he's not over here either. Good, he actually went home this time. The Bat Rider gets to live, and ultimately it's just the Vengeful Spirit to go down. That's not really the fight that I was expecting, but Tedious was, you know, jumping towards the back line there, but the fact that he didn't die was actually pretty remarkable. He got silenced and Mystic Flared. Not many heroes that can survive that, but keep in mind this is only a level 1 Mystic Flare against a level 16 hero with an Eye of Scotty. Very, very tanky, this Slark. And also I think the Bat Rider was in the back end lassoing someone, so the reinforcements weren't quite there for Bennett +5. Either way, it's still a kill going their way for the Dire. And they're going to snowball that into a tier 2 tower. The last outer tier 2 tower. This tower's going to go down. They're just going to keep on rolling. Assault Cuirass completed? Yes, completed on the Bristleback as it does fly out. That means this Medusa is going to be doing next to nothing now. He has Eye of Scotty Yasha. Now, as nice as that is, it's just not enough when the enemies just have so much more than you. Plus that Assault Cuirass with the armor on everyone. Like, she isn't really doing the most damage right now. 135 with the split shot on. That suddenly drops to like 70 damage a pop just with the Assault Cuirass. Hari's going to get Hex Spiked. Finger of Death available, but they don't even need it. Bashed down by the Bristle. Easy kills on the Vengeful Spirit. 8 to 18 now as Bennett +5 are pulling further and further ahead. They also have the Slark on the hunt. And he is going to find, surprise, surprise, a Bat Rider. That's a first hit bash as well. Hate to see that kind of thing happen, guys. You hate to see it. But at the same time, the Slark, he got free farm in the beginning. That's what happens when you give free farm to a Slark, guys. He will mess your face up. And it's not really being replicated by the Medusa who got relatively free farm, because she's Medusa. She can't do anything until she gets one more damage item. And even then she's going to be falling behind because she's the only one on Alpha who's actually doing anything in this game. Like the BKB Storm Spirit, he has the Bloodstone, he's had it for a long time. Has he made any contributions? Not really. He hasn't really done anything in this game. Whereas the Slark has just been doing anything. Tibushka going to pick a fight with Bakemono, who's going to get caught in the Mystic Flare, but he will survive for right now, slipping out of there just in time. Mr. O on the low ground looking for a Blink Hex in, but Storm Spirit going to get himself out of there. Miggy, though, going to be stalked by a Slark who does see his target. There is a Sentry, so he's going to lose Shadow Dance movement speed, but Miggy can't really out-juke the Slark. First hit bash? Of course it's a first hit bash. Of course it's a first hit bash, guys. It's always a first hit bash. Is that an Abyssal Blade? I didn't know they changed Abyssal Blade's icon to Skull Basher's icon. I didn't know that. But the double damage rune is, of course, going to spawn conveniently right outside Roshan. Not like they need it. They have so much minus armor here. They don't have that much, actually. Nasal Goo isn't really being applied, but now they do. And, well, they're just going to demolish Roshan, grab a double life. Cheese will be on the next Roshan. And Alpha, I mean, they're not really doing that hot right now. And they do see the Batrider, or at least where the Batrider was. Now they have double Blink Hex, one on the Puck, one on the Lion. They have the Slark, who has a Blink Disable as well, because of course he's always going to get a first hit bash, so that's pretty much as dependable as you can get. Might even be better than a Blink Hex. Actually, no, it's not, because even if you do always get a first hit bash, it's melee range, so yeah. That's thinking ahead, guys. That's smart thinking right there. But Tedious, he's always on the hunt. This time he's going to go for Bakemono. Now this is a challenging kill, because you actually have to perma-stun him. He does have help coming in the form of the Puck. Bakemono not even going to get stunned a single time. Ball Lightning away. As the Slark, you really want to make that sort of jump, but he should have waited, man. Just a little bit more patience. Blink in, Hex from Tabushka. That's a guaranteed kill, especially after you apply the silence. But waiting without that, with no Abyssal, yeah, you're not going to get that kill. Fortunately for Tedious, he will have the Abyssal soon. He's at 2,900 gold. The Slark is getting really loaded up with those items. You look at the items for Alpha, almost BKB on Storm Spirit, almost Force Staff on the Batrider. By this time, you should have Blink Dagger, Force Staff, and you should be looking at your next item. You should have like a part or two already completed of that, whatever it's going to be. But instead, he doesn't even have the Force Staff. Top lane's going to be pushed, and Alpha, they're now forced into a defense. Muranos on the front lines, that Assault Cuirass, very tanky to that physical damage. But Alpha, they have really not much damage to worry about in either physical or magical. I think maybe at this point you consider getting just raw HP on the Bristleback, grabbing a heart or a Satanic or something like that. Or an Eye of Scotty. That's not terrible either. Tower bottom lane goes down. Literally nobody cares. And this tower with the -5 Assault Cuirass debuff is going to be dropped very low. Blink forward, Assassination of the Skywrath Mage with the coil onto 2. King going to panic pop his Stone Gaze, but no one's really going to be affected by that. Tedious thinking about jumping, he'll instead jump towards Jinx God. No Batrider initiation for this fight. He'll get swapped out right now as they charge forward looking for someone. Bakemono's going to get right into Tabushka. There's Grave here, and that will not be a Storm Spirit getting a kill. Tedious still full HP, still has that Aegis, is going to be juking in and out of those tier 4 towers, still not taking that much damage as Puck is going to slip away. Lion will give up his life, but that's exchanged for the Batrider. King also in the front lines. Can't really do that much. Nemuranos taking pretty much no damage. How much damage is he actually taking? Like 70 a pop? For this Medusa, not really that high. Tedious also has that Aegis. He will get hit with the Magic Missile, losing a little bit of mana, but he still has the Dazzle right behind him, and he will just Shadow Dance his way back up to full HP. Everyone on Bandit +5, minus the support Lion, gets to walk out of there alive, and they've claimed the Raxes, a lot of gold. That's going to be Abyssal for the Slark. That's going to be a Reaver almost for the Bristleback. They're all just going to pass through the secret shop and then just buy everything on the way through. Seems pretty balanced, guys. They still have another 2 minutes on the Aegis. I want to say that most likely it's just going to be a full mana potion for Tedious. It's not exactly what you want to be doing with the Aegis, but when you just can't die, you just can't die, and Aegis becomes a bad item then. Maybe they should have given the Aegis to the Puck. I mean, it is very possible for the Slark to die still. He's just never really been focused in this game. And that's not something you want to be doing. You gotta focus the Slark, guys, or else Slark is gonna wrap around and kill your Batrider. No, not again. Please, Tedious, show mercy. Okay, he's gonna show a little bit of mercy, but not that much. He's gonna wrap around, not spotted by the Observer just yet. Bakemono going to get in the fight with Robert, who's just trying to pull out mana. There's the Abyssal after the BKB. Now, how's the stunning action looking? The BKB is still up. He's gonna try to go for Robert, but he won't even do that. Tedious doing way too much damage. The Dazzle getting into a man fight with the Storm Spirit, and Storm Spirit can't even bring him down. I mean, the plan there from the Dazzle was just get into a fight, try to make the Storm Spirit overcommit on the Dazzle, and then get picked off by the Slark. And if they make it a one-to-one trade, that's fine. That's perfectly okay for Bandit +5 because the Storm Spirit's down, and they can fight without their Dazzle. But instead, they just kill the Storm Spirit, which is obviously a lot better. Age is still up, not for very long, however. The split push from Alpha, almost non-existent. These supports not doing anything to help the split push effort. Those wild wings will still be there, guys. But maybe you're going to have to call the split pushing off because your bottom lane's now in a lot of trouble. Top lane, Rax is pushing in. King will do his best to shove that one out. Now has an Eagle Song, so he's doing some decent damage, but is it going to be enough? I'm inclined to say no because, well, they don't have much time. Ball lightning in and out from the Storm Spirit. But a Shadow Wave is going to mitigate all of that. Alpha, they have everything that they could possibly want. All they need is for Jinx God to get in there with a lasso. And he just is not doing it right now. If they don't get the lasso initiation, they're not going to win a fight. They're not going to start a fight either. Fortunately for them, the Aegis has just been reclaimed, so Bandit +5, yeah, they're going to fall back. No risks, man. No risk. Why risk anything? There's no reason to. Or, ninja move, you go back, and then you feint. You make the enemies think that you're gone, but then all of a sudden, you're here. Jinx God is going to lead with the smoke, which might not be good for him. Both smokes are going to be blown. Blink forward, coil onto 3. Storm Spirit's going to jump to the back line, try to go for Robert, but TDS is in the front line, just going to kill off everyone. Bakemono not even going to kill off that Dazzle, gets forced up to the high ground. Nimrod else going to get turned to stone, but TDS is going to get right on top of King. Finger Death going to kill off the Bat Rider in the meantime. King going to get hexed up, swapped out though, might survive. Vengeful Spirit not as lucky. King though is going to be tagged with that Snot. He will be brought down with the Eye of Scotty plus Basher. Panic buyback from the Medusa, but she can't do anything. They've lost the Bat Rider, who so far landed 0 initiations, I want to say, with that lasso. And this is going to be bottom lane taken at the very least. King is going to get hexed up. Ball lightning in and out from Bakemono. Mr. O dropping fairly low. He'll probably be moving out of there right about now. He will drop even lower. Shallow Grave, though, is just going to try to burn King of all his mana. That's not really a great way of killing Medusa, but they don't need to kill Medusa because they've already taken the building that matters. That's melee racks down on both top and bottom lanes. Bandit +5 lose absolutely nothing. This is getting really, really bad for Alpha. This bad, in fact. I don't know if there's anything that they can do except for turtle and cross their fingers. If ever there's a time to bring in the doctor, now is the time. The Medusa needs to pick up that rapier, but she can't even afford it right now. She needs so much more farm to grab just one part of it in that sacred relic. And then at that point, it's clearly not really hard for Bandit +5 to kill off the Medusa, so you have to go for a Hail Mary, but your Hail Mary isn't even a Hail Mary. It's you need a miracle right now if you're Alpha, or if you can't find a miracle, you settle for a Bat Rider initiation, which I heard are pretty good. I don't know since I haven't seen them in this game, but I'm pretty sure Bat Rider lasso is a good skill, guys. I'm pretty sure it is good, but we just haven't seen them. No visual confirmation in this game as to whether or not this Bat Rider has a good ultimate or not, guys. But we do know that Slark is pretty good, and we know that Shadow Blade on Slark, if you play it really aggressively, is good. Because you can do stuff like this. Just kill off the enemy Bat Rider. How many kills is that? 2, 11, and 2. Finger of Death on Dahari in the meantime. Lion looking for a kill on the Vengeful Spear. Force Staff into that pact. That was a smooth play by the Lion. Just falling short himself, but when you fall short yourself, just call in some friends. Bakemono from the back end. What are you doing there, man? You have to pop the BKB and try to get away. He's gonna man fight? You can't man fight. What are you doing? Okay, that's what he's doing. To the death. If you guys can't kill me, then I will kill me. I will be the only one who can kill me. But with 3 heroes down, Alpha, the door is wide open in the mid lane. Fortification gonna shut that door for a little bit, for a little while, but not for long enough, because this Slark is gonna eat a Mystic Flare, and he doesn't give a damn, man. Like, did he get hit by the Mystic Flare? I didn't quite notice. Is this still a level 1 Mystic Flare? No, it's fine at level 2, but it's not sealed up, so it's not gonna be amplified. Not doing too much damage. Melee Rack's gonna be focused down. Butterfly and the Medusa, a nice item. They're gonna charge forward with the Stone Gaze, but everyone's just gonna turn their backs, especially that Bristle. And suddenly, they take absolutely no damage. Like, literally no damage. Jinx God getting the initiation off. Oh my god, onto the Lion. The Lion is going to get graved up. However, he will survive for a little while longer. Jinx God going to pay for his insolence. Sabushka is going to get 1 kill. And Lion also getting out of there. Ball lightning forward. Bakemono is going to kill off the Lion. But meanwhile, the rest of Alpha is dead. Bakemono is going to try to TP out. First hit bash. First hit bash. He gets to live because the Ancient already exploded. But that's fine because Bandit +5 absolutely steamrolling their way past Alpha. In a farmed Slark game, in a Bristleback game, in a game where Alpha have picked up a Bat Rider, in air quotations. They, quote, picked a Bat Rider. But, I don't know. Didn't really see much of it. So hopefully, for Alpha, they'll rally and get a little bit more going, because the Bristleback and Slark have no deaths. And the Dazzle 008, it's not really like the most impressive score in the world, but Robert G did his job and then some. Impeccable dazzle play and impeccable play from Bandit +5. We're going to be moving on to game 2 in this best of 2, guys, in just a little bit, so don't go anywhere. I'm Mike Larson. I'll be right back.